In this demo session for the upcoming live training program under the title of Professional Approach for the Design of Foundation using CSI Safe, Excel and Manual. First of all, we are trying to understand some important things about the design of your substructure. So some basic things we all know very well, and I think that you all know about all these basic things, that our structure is subjected of two parts. One is your superstructure, another one is your substructure. This combinedly makes the entire structure with which you are going to deal. So there are some myth in our mind and some misconceptions in our mind. That is what we are considering the substructure is only your foundation. So your substructure is not only the foundation, but also it is including the subsoil also. So your subsoil and foundation will combinedly make the substructure. And we know that load transfer mechanism is what? Whatever the load you are going to transfer through the superstructure to the foundation, so your foundation is not going to carry any load. Your foundation is what is responsible to transferring the load to the subsoil. So this is another myth in our mind, that we are designing or we are making this foundation to carry the load of superstructure. But in actual it is not like that. We are providing the foundation to provide the support to provide the platform for your superstructure, and the responsibility of this foundation is to transfer the stresses or loads that you are going to put over this to the subsoil. So as you can see in this figure, that is what the foundation is going to transfer the load to your subsoil. So the question is what for we are going to design our foundation, what for we are going to provide the reinforcement in the foundation. So we are going to provide the reinforcement, and we are going to provide the sufficient depth, the sizes of the foundation for the purpose of resisting whatever the load your soil mass is going to exert over the base of your foundation. Whatever the pressure, whatever the upward stresses going to be exerted by the soil mass to the base of your foundation. For that we are going to design our foundation. But due to lack of knowledge, due to lack of confidence, due to lack of awareness, some beginners or practitioners, what they are doing, they are going to make this design such that they should carry the superstructure load. Yeah, they are right, but what they are doing, they are unnecessarily going to provide the more reinforcement for the safety concern. They are providing unnecessarily more section size. They are going to provide unnecessarily more depth of the foundation to have the strength, to have the sufficient stability. And they are not going to consider the another part, that is what the economy. Unnecessarily they are going to provide the more section size and more depth of the foundation, and it is going to become an uneconomical. So at a time, two things we have to think in our mind, that strength or stability of your foundation, as well as we need to take into concern that is about the economy of your foundation design, substructure design. So at a time, both of the things should be in equal proportion. They should be adequate. If you are going to make very uneconomical, so there may danger of its stability. If you are going to provide the more strength, more stability to your foundation, there will be danger of the economy. Your structure is going to become uneconomical. So these all are some basic concepts. Okay, some basic like confusions in the mind of the beginners they are having. Okay, they are having a lot of questions in their mind. Like there are so many questions are there. They are not knowing that what are the different types of the foundations. So what are the different types of foundations? We need to know all of that. There are different types: simple pad footing is, stripped footing is, sloped footing is, combined footing is there, pile foundation is there, raft foundation is there, strap footing is there, strip footing is there, wall footing is there. So there are different types of the foundations. So it is what important to know what are the different types of foundation. But it is not the end. It is not only the important to know what are the types of the foundation. Another question is in what condition a particular type of foundation we have to select. What type of foundation for our proposed structure we should select? Who will tell you about what type of foundation you should select? Who will tell you what type of foundation is suitable for your proposed site, for your proposed structure? Sometimes beginners or participants are asking that is the selection of particular type of footing is depends on the bearing capacity of the soil. So actually they don't know on what factors the type of foundation is depends. They don't know. Sometimes the students or participants or beginners are asking that whether the load will decide the particular type of foundation for our proposed structure. They don't know what does mean by the soil investigation report. Why it is needed to perform the soil investigation for the proposed structure? If my structure is small structure, medium structure, high-rise structure, whether I need to go for the soil investigation or not, or whether small, medium, high-rise structure is the factor that is influencing to decide whether we need to go for the soil investigation or not. What are the content of the soil investigation report? How to read this soil investigation report? How to take out the important data from that soil investigation report? They don't know. And that is important to understand for the design of your substructure, for the design of your any type of foundation, for the design of any type of substructure for your proposed structure. How I can design all these different types of the foundation manually? Nowadays, the scenario is what we are looking at the softwares only. Yeah, software is there that will give the results. But who will validate that software results? So for that you need to have the knowledge, a form knowledge, means in deep knowledge about the manual design, conceptual design of your foundation. How you can design by using the spreadsheets. They don't know what are the different softwares are available in their in the market for the design of your substructure. What steps we should take for the completion of any project for the design of the substructure? What important things what important information I need to have before of designing the substructure? What important parameters are there? What important things we need to know before getting into the design of your substructure? They don't know whether the software will give the result or not. How to see the results of the softwares? How to validate the results of softwares? So these all are the questions that are very, very important to get the answer of all these things. All these things before of designing the foundation, before of to have the good knowledge about the substructure design, good confidence over the substructure design, to deal the software with confidence. So by keeping all these things, all these problems, all these questions, all these needs in our mind, we have prepared this training program under the title of Professional Approach for the Design of the Foundation using CSI, SAFE, Excel and Manual. Why we are going to sum up this CSI, SAFE, Excel and Manual? So here our plan to enforce you all with every concept. Not only the manual we are going to include here, not only the Excel here we are going to include, not only the software here we are going to include. Here our objective is to give everything in once. Every skills we would like to put in this training program so that you will become a master of substructure design. So let's start to understand in what steps or what will be the content of this training program, how we will proceed to complete this training program. Okay, so this complete training we are going to cover in these 3 sections. These 3 sections will be there as first section, second section and third section. So first of all, try to understand what we are going to cover in each of these individual sections. So here we are going to consider that you don't know anything. We are going to start everything from the scratch. So very first we are going to cover in the first section, we will take what? In the first section there will be what? All concept for the substructure design. Very basic things we are going to cover here. Substructure design, what is the property of the soil mass? What important properties are there to understand for the satisfactory performance of your substructure, superstructure? What are the different types of the foundation? Under which situation, which type of foundation will be suitable for your structure? That we will discuss in detail. If you are going to apply the load over your foundation, how your foundation is going to be deformed? What is the pressure bulb concept? What its influence on the design of the substructure? What is the flexural behavior of your footing under the loading? How your individual isolated foundation is going to be response under the loading, how your combined footing is going to be response, how your strap footing is going to be response, how your flat raft foundation is going to be response, how your pile foundation, pile cap is going to be response under the application of the loading. So that all things we are going to cover in detail. What is the subgrade modulus? What is the formula for the subgrade modulus? Why it is needed to define the subgrade modulus in your CSI SAFE software or any software if you are going to use? So that conceptual understanding we are trying to cover first. In the second, we are going to cover design of all types of foundations manually. We will see all designs of foundations manually. I told you the importance of manual design. Unless and until you are not having the command over the design of all these different types of foundations manually, you will not getting the confidence of dealing the softwares. Yeah, I am going to model the rectangular footing, I am going to apply the load and I am getting the results, I am going to work with that result. So it is just a clerical work. It is not actual way of learning and actual way of performing with the software. We should have a knowledge about the validating the results of the software. So to validate the results of the software, you should have the knowledge about the manual design of the foundation or any element if you are talking about the superstructure also. So here we are going to cover all the different types of the foundation by manual as isolated foundation, square, rectangular, stepped footing, sloped footing, combined footing, strap footing, pile cap design, pile design, 2 pile, 3 pile, 4 pile, 6 pile, every type of pile foundation design, pile cap design we are going to look at in this training program in detail. Okay, thereafter with manual calculation we will proceed for the design of all different types of footing by using the spreadsheets. We are going to design all these different types of foundations by using spreadsheets. So I will show you how to design all these different types of foundations using the spreadsheets. So this different advanced level of spreadsheets we are having, and we will validate the result of manual calculation and the spreadsheets. We will see the results. Okay, so every time it is not possible to go for every foundation manually. That's why we are taking the help of spreadsheets, and consultants are also doing the same thing. So they are using the spreadsheets for the designing of the foundations. So the same practice we are going to adopt in our training program. So isolated stepped footing will be there, then sloped footing will be there, that will cover by using spreadsheets, combined footing. So all the footings that we did by manual approach, that all trying to cover with the spreadsheets also. So this is a combined footing, this is the strap footing. Okay, then there is the 2 pile cap design, 4 pile cap design, 3 pile cap design, everything we will cover by using the spreadsheets. Got it? Then after that, what steps will be there? Then we will look at the software, knowing in detail about the CSI safe software. So we are taking the sample projects, dummy projects we are going to start, we are going to take, and we are trying to understand, we are trying to know in detail about the CSI safe software. What is the, how to define the material property, section property, soil subgrade modulus, how to prepare the model, because the general knowledge about the and practicing over the demonstration of your CSI safe software, then only you will be able to work with the software. So in detail we will talk about the CSI safe software. General study will be there about the software, about its commands, about all its options, unit settings, everything, grading, everything we are going to cover in detail. Thereafter, there will be the step of validating the CSI safe software for all the manual problems, manual exercises. So we are going to take the individual problems. We are going to take the individual problems. Let me show you. So for each individual foundation, like for the square isolated foundation, whether your results are matching with your manual calculation or spreadsheet or not. For the rectangular footing, whether your results are matching with your manual Excel and with CSI safe result or not, whether the results are validating or not, whether your software is giving the right result or not. For the combined footing, for the strap footing, for the stepped footing, and for the pile cap design. Okay, so that we will cover individually for individual footings. For each individual foundations we are trying to cover it in detail. Are you getting, try to understand what knowledge you are going to get from this training program? So here our objective is not to cover only the software. Our objective here is to cover everything. We are trying to make your not only dealing with the software, but also you should capable of validating your results. Got it? So by manual approach we are trying to cover. So with this first section of this training program, after completion of this first section, you will be confident of completion of any type of foundation by manual or by spreadsheets, and you will be able to validate the results with the CSI safe software, and you will be capable of modeling, analysis, design, everything in CSI safe software. So objective of this first section, making you familiar with the software and basic knowledge, basic concept and manual approach. After that, the second part of this training program we are going to start. There we will learn about how you can complete any real life project for the substructure design. What important things you need to have before of getting into the design of your substructure. So like what important things you need to have, what steps you need to follow for the completion of any step, that we will cover in detail. So like what steps are there, we need to understand that. So what steps are there? So there are like first of all we need to have the soil investigation report. That soil investigation report will give you lot of information about the subsoil, what its strength, load carrying capacity, what is species of the soil, what is shear capacity of the soil, and what methods of the soil exploration where it is adopted. It will give the information about the proposed structure. Everything will be there that you can see here, okay, in detail. So this is what the soil investigation report. So this will tell you what procedure they have followed, introduction about your project, scope of the work, and what methods they have adopted for finding out the bearing capacity of the soil. And then finally this soil investigation report will suggest you what type of the foundation will be suitable for your structure. And lot of things are there to understand in this soil investigation report, and we are trying to cover all of that in this training program. So very first thing will be what you need to know, the soil investigation report. After that, getting the soil investigation report and knowing everything about the soil investigation report, okay, thereafter we need to go for the knowing the anticipated load, the load coming from your superstructure. So we need to take the help of any software. There we are dealing with the superstructure. So for the design of the foundation, two things are very important. Very first is you need to know the soil bearing capacity of the soil, and second, loading. So unless and until you are not having the loading, how you can proceed for the design? So before to have the loading, to have the reaction, we need to create the model, performing analysis, knowing the base reaction, then you can proceed. And thereafter we will decide what type of foundation will be suitable for our proposed structure. And thereafter we will design the foundation. We will design it for the flexure, shear, scheduling, detailing, everything we are trying to cover for our proposed structure. And then we will move to prepare the final design report and schedule and detail everything. So that is what the steps we are going to follow for the completion of any type of structure. Got it? So like this will be the second part of this training program. So brief study about the soil investigation report will be there. And in this training program we are going to cover 4 real life projects. In this training program we are going to cover 4 real life projects. In the first and second project we are going to cover all the type of I can say shallow foundation as stepped footing, sloped footing, and pad footing, and combined footing, strap footing, every type of foundation. With this first and second real life project, it will be the medium rise structure we are trying to cover for taking any real life project. So we will look at what will be the steps, what will be the procedure for the completion of this medium rise structure substructure design. Got it? So what steps are there? So suppose if you are having the structure, so you need to have the model of it. You need to perform the analysis. You need to get the reaction at the base. So most of the time students are confused about for which load combination we have to design the foundation, either for the factor load combination, either for the service load combination. They are confused about it. How to export the reaction from the ETAP software, how to export the layout of the columns. See, how to export the layout of the drawing from the ETAPs to CAD. Then how to import that CAD drawing directly to your CSI safe software. So interconnectivity between your ETAPs to CAD, CAD to safe, then safe to CAD, CAD to model. ETABS. So that is important to understand. Okay, that will save your time for the completion of the substructure design. Got it? So what load combination you need to define, okay, how to perform the analysis, how to export the reaction from the ETABS software, then how to export and then how to import in CSI safe software, that we will cover in detail. After having the reactions, what next step for the structure, for the design of the substructure, what steps will be there? That is what first you need to create the groups, preliminary grouping of your foundations you need to do. Then accordingly you need to find out the preliminary section size of your foundation, in plan dimension of the foundation. Okay, in plan dimension of the foundation, what should be the length of the footing, what should be the width of the footing. It is the preliminary. How to move from preliminary to final design, length and width, how to decide the depth of the foundation, how to satisfy the depth of the foundation under the one-way shear, two-way shear, punching shear, how to see the result in your CSI safe software for the punching, for the shear, for the one-way shear, for the punching shear. That things we will cover in detail in this training program. Got it? So after that, what next step will be, we have to design the foundation in the CSI safe. There are different methods for the design. Strip method is there and finite element based method is there. Which method is under which situation, which method you have to adopt. How to optimize the design of your foundation. How to adjust the depth of the footing. So that all things we are trying to cover in this training program. Thereafter, we are taking the raft foundation. Okay, so raft foundation we are in the first and second training, in the first and second project, we are covering what all the like I can say individual foundations we are trying to cover, make your comfort for the design of all the individual foundation and making you familiar how to deal with the software, how to prepare the schedule detail, okay, how to export reaction, how to design by strip method, by the finite element method. That all things we are going to cover. Now in the third real life project, we are going to cover the raft foundation. This is another type of your shallow foundation that we are going to take in this training program as raft foundation. So in this raft foundation, how to means on what basis you have to decide we should go with the raft foundation, right? On what basis we have to, on what criteria we can decide we should go with the raft foundation. Then how to proceed for the strip modelings for this raft foundation. Then how to prepare the design result for this raft foundation, how to prepare the schedule for this raft foundation. That all things we will cover in this training program. And after this raft foundation, we are moving toward the one more real life project that will be your high-rise structure for the pile foundation design. So under which situation we need to go with the pile foundation design, pile structure design, pile cap design. On what factor you will decide we should go with the pile foundation, whether on the soil bearing capacity of the soil, whether on the based on loading, or both are important, only one of them they are important. So on what criteria you will decide you should go with the pile foundation or pile cap design, whether your soil investigation will tell you about this. So that things we need to understand, and what steps will be there for the completion of pile foundation design, that we need to understand, and we are going to cover in this training program. So after having the model being as analyzed, you have to export the reaction, you have to export the layout of the shear wall column. So if you are going to export the layout of your column, so it is an easy task. But when you are trying to export the layout of your shear wall, so it is very, very difficult. So how to tackle that problem of exporting the shear wall layout from the ETABS to CAD? That is very, very important. So in this, for the design of your pile cap or pile, you need to export the reaction. First thing, you need to export the layout of your shear wall or column. Got it? So after exporting, you need to what? You need to decide the how many number of piles are required under each shear wall. That you need to decide. On what basis you can decide how many number of piles are required. Like if you are going to talk about the high-rise structure, and when it is subjected to very high intensity of the loading, okay, and very high intensity of the reactions are there, so and bearing capacity of the soil is very less. So in that situation, we are moving towards the means your soil investigation will also suggest to go with the pile foundation. So for the pile foundation, you need to know how much reactions are there, and according to that reaction, we need to decide how many number of piles are required under each shear wall. Under each shear wall, you need to decide. So it is very essential thing before of getting into the design of your pile and pile cap. So how many number of piles under each shear wall is required, what factors are there, what factor we need to consider, and how to proceed for deciding the number of piles we will cover in this training program in detail. After that we need to create the layout of your pile cap. So try to understand lot of things you need to understand, and you need to do before of getting into the software. So learning of software is not the solution. You need to understand the procedure also. What procedures are there? So pile cap layout, you need to here you need to first fix. Okay, under which column, under which shear wall, under which column, how many number of piles are required, on what criteria your number of pile will be decided. Then thereafter you need to decide the layout of your pile cap. This is a very interesting and very important thing. Deciding the layout of the pile cap. What is the limit given by your IS code 2911 for deciding the spacing between the two piles? What should be the minimum maximum spacing between the two piles? What will happen if I am going to keep two piles very close to each other? There is a concept of pressure bulb. What will happen if I am going to provide only one pile? What will happen if I am going to provide the number of piles? Whether your individual pile will give the more strength, or in group will give the more strength. So and what is the concept of deciding the layout of your pile cap? What shape of the pile cap should be, that will be most effective and more correct for your design, will give the more significant result for the safer design. How you will come to know all these things. Okay, how to provide the reinforcement in this. So everything first we need to, before of all that things, we need to first fix the layout. After completion of this layout, we need to import this layout directly in your CSI Safe software. That's why understanding of linking between ETABS to CAD, CAD to Safe, then Safe to CAD, CAD to model, you need to understand all those things. So here we have to import this layout of the pile cap, pile and shear wall directly in your CSI Safe software. Let me open that model first so you can understand in detail. Okay. So try to understand, just look at in the plan. Okay, just go to this. So first of all, we need to import the layout of the pile and pile cap and shear wall. This is a very important step. How to import the layout. See, most of the time what problem we are facing, the files are not properly imported. Sometimes joints we are not getting, sometimes layout we are not getting, sometimes this shear wall we are not getting, shear wall lines we are not getting. So how to correct that? What important steps you need to take so that you will not face any kind of problem after importing in this. After importing this, how to model your pile caps. Okay, how to model your piles. So for in industry there are two options for the modeling of the pile. One is what? Modeling of the pile as a stiff area, modeling of the, and second option is what? Modeling of actual pile. Two options are there. So which option will be more effective? Which one is the more correct? In practice, both were adopted by the consultant, by the practitioners. Some consultants, what they are modeling this pile as a stiff area. Some consultants, what they are doing, they are modeling this pile as an actual pile. Some consultants, what they are modeling shear wall. Some consultants, what they are doing, they are modeling as a stiff area. On what basis you will decide the depth of the pile cap? That all things we will cover in detail in this training program. So every option I will let you know in detail. What will happen with actual modeling of the pile? What will happen if you are going to model it as a strip area. What is the role of your strip area? Not only for this pile, but also for your isolated foundation. For the isolated foundation, instead of modeling of the column, what we are going to do, we are going to model a strip area. Over this, suppose I am going to consider it is my isolated foundation, and suppose this is my column. So instead of modeling of the column, actual column, I am going to do what? Try to understand. Suppose this is my foundation and this is your column. So instead of modeling of this actual column, I am not going to model the column, I am going to model a strip area. So many of you don't know what does mean by the strip area. So what is the role of this strip area? Why we are going to model the strip area? Likewise for the shear wall, so that we will cover in detail what is the effect and why we are going to model the strip area. And we also try to learn the smart way of modeling, because it is a very big project. If you are going to do the modeling of each individual pile, each individual pile cap, each individual shear wall, strip area, so it takes hell lot of time. Yeah, you can do that, you can complete this project, but you will take the time about 3 hours, 2 hours, 1 hour for the completion of this modeling. But I will give you a smart approach for completion of the modeling, so that you can complete the modeling within, I can say, within 20 minutes, within 15 minutes you can complete the modeling. So some advanced approach we have to take. So after the completion of this modeling and all, how to proceed for the analysis, how to proceed for the design. So when you go for the design, so there is two design approaches are there. When you go for the design of the foundation, let me show you. When you go to design foundation, so there are two approaches for the design of foundation. That is what? One is strip based method, second one is the finite element based method. So in which method, means among these two methods, what is the difference? Okay, in which case you have to go with the strip method, in which case you have to go with the finite element based method, and what are the criteria of the serviceability to check whether your foundation, every type of foundation, whether you are talking about the isolated foundation, raft foundation, or pile and pile cap design. So for all types of the foundation, whether your foundation is within the whether foundation settlements under the loading are within the limit or not, whether your foundations are going to experience the uniform upward pressure or not, uniform soil pressure or not. That is very important thing. So how to ensure that uniform pressure you will get under the all types of foundations, eccentric footing. Okay, how to design this eccentric footing. So that all things we are trying to cover in detail in this training program. How to make your foundation in punching safe, in one-way shear safe, how to check in the software, how to validate in this software. So that all we will cover in this training program. And after this all, what we will do, after that we are going to prepare the final schedule and detail like this. See, this kind of report we have to prepare to send on site for the site execution. Okay, for the combined footing, for the individual isolated foundation, for the sloped footing, for every project we are trying to prepare the report. Okay, this is for the combined footing, raft foundation you have to prepare, and then this is a detailing of the reinforcement. Okay, and this is the detailing for the reinforcement for the bottom face, for the top face, that we will to prepare. Then we have to prepare the layout of your pile cap, design for the pile cap, that we need to understand final design. Let me show you. In this way you have to prepare the final design result for your pile cap and pile. Okay, so schedule you have to prepare, detail you have to prepare, everything we are trying to cover in this training program in detail, so that you will get the real experience of dealing with the real challenging problems. Okay, and after the completion of this training program, you will get what? The certification also. Okay, so ISO certification you will get after the completion of this training program. So this program will be conducted in evening from 9 to 10. Okay, and session recordings you will get, doubt clarification will be there on personal level. Okay, and all the practice material we will share, everything that I have shown here, everything that is important for your study, for your understanding, for your knowledge, for your progress. Everything we will share. So nothing will be hidden, nothing will be there will be no hidden charges for any other thing. Everything will be included in the price of 4,500. And this training program we are going to start from 9th of November. We are going to start the program, and timing will be from 9 to 10. Here it is written 8 to 9:30, but in actual it will be 9 to 10 p.m. in evening will be. And after the completion of this session or each session, daily session, you will get your recording till the midnight. Okay, you will get the recording also, so you can practice it on next day. Okay, and along with all these things there will be some exercise also. So we are allotting this some work, and we will assess that your work completion. Okay, and at the end of this training program, exam will be there. Based on your marks and scores, you will get the certification, that will be ISO certification. So this will be all about the introduction about this CSI Safe, Excel and manual design of your foundation.